Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and I love to read romance and fantasy. I thought today we could go over my December reads. So this is going to be our December wrap-up. First book I read was The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I was thinking about this book for a while before it finally went away, and the more I think about it, the more I fell in love with it. It really stayed with me for a while there, so I decided to give this a 5-star. It's such a good book. I love the Nightborn duet. This is actually book 2 in the duet, and I think I like book 2 a little bit better than book 1. There's betrayals, there's yearning love, there's, wings, vampires, there's a civil war going on, there's that despite of all, it's a love story between Oriah and Rain, and how they, enemies turns lovers, turns enemies again, and then going back to lovers. And I think it was just such a great book, and I loved the ending of this book. No spoilers here, but if you haven't read any Crown of Nyaxia stories, I totally recommend this. I will definitely follow the third book, which is I believe is Shadowborn. It might be Shadowborn duet that follows the FMC Mish, and I think that would be a really good book because Mish appear in this series, in this duet, and I really love her character, so I can't wait to read about her story, her journey, and things like that. But I also know that in between the two books, this one and the first one, there's a novella. And I actually haven't read that novella, which I do want to pick it up and read it. It's a very short novella. I believe it's only 200 pages, and I hear so many good things about that novella, so I'm definitely reading that. Yeah, started out December with a really, really strong book, so I was very happy about that. And the next 3 books that I read is the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lassoed. And so we have Done and Dusted, which is book 1, Swift and Saddled, book 2, and Lost and Lasso, book 3. I ate them up. I already knew I was gonna love them. This book, I need a palate cleanser after this book, so I figure why not dive into these 3, and they are cowboy romance. I mean, Elsie Silver really got me into cowboy romance, so I figure okay, why not read these? I love them. They are a solid 3.5 to 4 stars. What I'll say though is after reading these, I realized that I do like Elsie Silver's writing a little better, but that's not to say that these are bad books. They are great. I had a great time. I devour them instantly. So, and then we went into the Lightlark world. Yes, we did. So I read Lightlark and Nightbane back to back. And I love Lightlark. I love this book. It's the first book in the Lightlark series. It's young adult, written by Aster. And I love it. Because I don't I think the trope of it is the centennial only happens every 100 years, and they have to compete to lift the curse for their realms. And it was giving Hunger Games vibes, and I haven't really read any books with that trope before, so this is pretty new to me. And I really like it. It's, the end of this book's kind of insane. We kind of see there was some betrayal and things like that. And then going into Nightbane, I gave this book a 3.5 stars. I think I don't know. I think my biggest mistake, and I said this before, is going into the Lightlark series. I have already heard a lot of outside opinions and reviews about this book, mixed reviews and things like that. I do know there's a love triangle. I do know that There are, you know, people, there are Team Grimm and Team Oral, and like I feel like I was kind of in like my opinion has kind of been influenced before going into this to this series. So that was definitely my mistake. I have learned my lesson. So I don't like, if I want to read a book and things like that, I would like block out outside opinions. I would try not to like hear so much about it. Like the general review is fine. The general review of like, this is such a great book, I had a good time. Like, you know, the summary is like, this is the tropes, like, you know, this is like the stories that enemies to lovers, blah, blah, blah. Like those are great because then I can weave out like, oh, I love these tropes, I'm gonna get into the book, but I'm not going to start like going down the rabbit hole and like hearing people that already read the book and talk about the books like in their opinions, because then it influenced my opinion before going into the book, and I just don't like that. And I think that was the mistake with Lightlark. So I want to say that I feel like my review or like my rating for this series is probably not as accurate, or like it's not as credible, just because I have already been influenced. You know, I have kind of been swayed a little bit. But anyways, like Nightbane, like this, most of this book is probably Isla and Oral's story, which like I do like. We get to see more of like Oral's side and how he is, like how he fell in love with Isla and things like that. And not gonna lie, he is a good guy, he is, but I am Team Grimm. I am through and through. So like I think that's why like this book was a little boring for me. I was like, oh, when is Grimm gonna show up? When is he's gonna show up? He's only mentioned like a couple of times throughout the book, and then like he's not really showing up till like the end of the book. So that was kind of rough. And so after reading 2 books, I needed to take a break from Lightlark. So then I picked up Wild Love by Elsie Silver, because nothing picks me up better than my girl Elsie. And so the Wild Love is the first book in the Rose Hill series. They are standalones. You can read them. Like I like to read them in order, but you don't have to read them in order, and you'll still understand the entire story just fine. I love Wild Love. It was so cute. It's really cute. I gave this a 4 stars. Elsie Silver can do no wrong in my eyes. I love her since the first time I've ever read Flawless and then finished Devour, the Chestnut Spring series. Wild Love, I already knew going in I was gonna love this. And this is a small town. I feel like, you know, really witty banter, kind of like frenemies to lovers. They weren't really enemies, they were frenemies, like, but they have loved each other for a long time, and they just kind of, like, their go-to is just kind of shit-talking each other, but they have loved each other for years and years and years, and it feels like, okay, it's right time, right place now, you know, with the right person. This is what this book feels for me, and it felt really good. So there's that. So after reading this book, I did go back to Skyshade, because obviously I'm going to finish the series, and like by now we all know that like the series is not finished. It's not just 3 books. Alex is coming out with 2 more books in 2025, which will conclude the series. And I will be continuing with the series because I am invested in the stories now. So Skyshade, I gave it a 3 stars because there's 2 things. I got first is I got pretty frustrated throughout the book with Isla. I just feel like she just keep like moping around. She just keeps, you know, saying I'm a monster, like I shouldn't be with him, I shouldn't be with Oral, I kill people, like I'm a bad person, I'm the villain, and things like that. And it's like, at one point I was just getting too frustrated. I was getting annoyed with her. I was like, dude, just get your shit together. Like, get yourself together, Isla. Like, you are a badass bitch, and I just want her so bad to be the badass bitch that she is in the book. And it did happen, but not until like towards the end of the book. So throughout the book, it's a lot of like her, like, you know, hating herself and feeling sorry for herself. And I'm just like, I just really want her. I wish that she could be like a really strong female character through and through the book. Like, I know it was happening towards the end of the book, but it's like, it was really frustrating to read about it. And then, you know, the second thing is like, because I'm Team Grimm, it's just kind of I just feel like the love triangle is being dragged out. And I don't know how I feel about it. It's also my first series with like a love triangle trope. So maybe like love triangles are just not my thing. I just don't like reading about it. I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know if it's like just because like of the book, or is it just me? I don't know, but I just feel like I'm not really enjoying the love triangle anymore. Like in the third book, I was hoping that she would just pick one already. It seems like she did, and then like she didn't. It's like a whole thing. But the reason why I will continue the series is because towards the end, I feel like it sets up pretty well for book 4 and 5. I feel like Isla is finally like coming back to herself, feeling powerful, feeling empowered, embrace who she is, the good and the bad. And like, you know, I'm feeling like book 4, I have a good feelings. I have expectations for book 4 now. So I'm definitely going to continue. But yeah, that's enough yapping on like the Lightlark series. I'm not saying it's a bad series. I think it's a good series, but you know, there are things that I do not enjoy as much, which is why I gave this book a 3 stars. Anyways, last but very, very not least is the book that I chose to read to conclude my December is Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the Rose Hill series, and when I tell you that I inhaled this book, I truly inhaled it. I sat down, one sitting, start to finish. I never got up again. I think I let myself drown in this book, and it's probably like the best feeling that I can really do. Like, I let myself drown, but in like the best way possible. That's like the only way that I can really explain to you how much I love this book. This is an instant 5 stars for me. And I don't usually give contemporary romance 5 stars because I understand it can get repetitive. I understand like it's predictable and things like that. Usually when I say it's solid, when I love it, it's like a 4.5 stars and things like that. But this book was an instant 5 star for me. I think when Emmy Rolsom, she said 5 stars is a feeling. I understand. I understand because of this book now. It was a feeling. And I love every moment of it. This was such a good book to conclude 2024 for me. And I love everything about this book. Single dad meet country star. Oh my God. Like, and I love the story between Wes and Skylar. It's just so beautiful the way that like Skylar comes into this town broken and hurt and have been like stripped down to the bones because of her stardom and how they made her out to be in Hollywood. And Wes is just like this sunshine single dad, full of life, full of spirits, and kind of heal her and lift her up and support her and love her. It warms my heart in like the best way. I can't tell you how much I love this book, and I love the fact that this is like the last book I read in 2024. It was the perfect end of 2024, and I love that for myself. Elsie Silver, you have my heart forever. Like, nothing that you write will ever be bad in my eyes. I don't think there will ever be a book that I don't like. Anyways, those are my books. I read a total of 9 books in December. Definitely not bad. Considering how busy I was in December, I didn't think I would make it. I actually was able to read every single book that I set out to read in December from my TBR list, so I'm very happy about that. I hope everybody had a great holiday, and Happy New Year to everyone. Happy 2025. I cannot wait to start this reading journey with you guys in 2025. It's gonna be so much fun. I will update you what I'm like my TBR list for January and also my 2025 reading goals. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I will see you next time. Bye.